Hey, old Christmas tree cleaning winds of the Foul Coast. What have we been up to? First video of 2022. Happy New Year for those that have not given the necessaries to. So yeah, we've been absolutely mental this week. For obvious reasons, we're catching up a lot from the new year, etc. Taking on the golf course, which you saw in the intro to this video. Which is a nice little sort of internal and a one-off external kind of effort for that. Then we've done some cladding, we've done 2 deep cleans, handful of gutter jobs, and then our standard window cleaning round. So it's been mental to be honest with you. I've had a number of chats with people before Christmas. I did felt the need to sort of put my phone down over the Christmas period, over sort of the New Year period. I've had a chat with a couple of people just before Christmas. And I think sometimes you've got to disconnect from everything just to sort of, you know, no phones, no social media, all that sort of good stuff. Have posted once or twice on social media, doing a few bits, but mainly just advertising to get awareness up for the new year so we can get some more work in the new year. And yeah, a couple of people I've spoken to seem to have this, they haven't quite started their business yet. They feel it's not the right time for them, which is cool. A number of them seem to have this mental block, which is to say that they are worried that they're not going to get enough work. That, you know, what happens if the work dries up? Well, they're not going to have any, if the work dries up, they're not going to have any money. If I'm not going to have any money, I can't pay my bills. And if I can't pay my bills, I'm going to be homeless. There's that cycle in their head. And I'm not going to lie, coming from the background that I've come from, being the first person in my family to start a business, it's more or less part of your upbringing that you inherit a lot of your mindset from your family, from your circle of friends, etc., and all that sort of good stuff. So there is what's referred to as a scarcity mindset, and that is to say that, you know, everything's a finite resource, that if one person wins, then another person has to lose, that there's not enough work for everybody and all this sort of stuff. And there's, that sort of gets everyone's back up and all that sort of stuff. And there's a lot of stress, and, you know, you forever feel like you're chasing your tail. You're on the hamster wheel and you got to keep going, you got to keep going, you got to keep going. And it's that's a mindset thing. That's not, in my humble opinion, that's a mindset thing. That's not reflected on what is going on in the real world. And Kate, it's the polar opposite of that is obviously abundance mindset. That is to say that, you know, you're able to create a win-win situation for everybody. That there is plenty of work out there. Excuse me. That there is, you know, opportunities where others people see, you know, a lack of opportunity and stuff like that. So, you know, I was first introduced to sort of, you know, scarcity mindset and abundance mindset by a friend of mine who runs a business. He's been in business longer than I have. His name's Danny Prince. He runs Prince Plumbing up on the Foul Coast near me. And he sort of taught me through the whole sort of, you know, I was very green coming into business and all this sort of stuff, and he was very much that sort of that figure of, you know, well, I kind of look up, I look up to him because he's been there, he's done it, he's started a company, he's got employees and all this sort of stuff, and he's, you know, and his industry, and this is quite interesting. So his industry is plumbing and heating. Now, that is very sort of ad hoc kind of work, isn't it? Because you have your windows done every month or every 2 weeks or every 6 weeks or every 8 weeks or whatever the hell. You know, you could have it done every 3 months, whatever, right? But having your boiler serviced is an annual thing, maybe. Landlords having gas safety certs is an annual thing. Having boiler installations is a 1 in 20 year kind of thing, you know. Having the filters changed, etc. Having, you know, all this kind of work, generally speaking, is not really done on a regular. What we would in the cleaning industry and in window cleaning in particular, on a regular basis. Yes, it's done annually, but you know, for example, a gas safety cert takes a couple of hours to carry out, and they'll charge 70 quid for the privilege, and the landlords will pay it and all that sort of good stuff, and that's fine. But for me, going into it as a green, newly minted, self-employed bod, if you like, going into that, my mindset at the time was, you know, how can you run a business that big where there's wages expected to be paid, there's fees to be paid on the vehicles, there's insurance, there's this, there's that, and the other, and you're doing ad hoc work and all this sort of stuff. And again, this is not how I want to reiterate. That's not how I think now. But a big reason as to why I don't think like that is because of the circle of friends I've surrounded myself with. And you know, if you surround yourself with other business owners, you're going to pick up little tips, little tricks, little sort of hints, little, you know, bits of information that, you know, when compiled together, will give you that aha moment. You know what I mean? There's that moment of clarity where you go, oh yeah, that actually works, doesn't it? You know, so, you know, the whole scarcity, going back to bringing it back into sort of, you know, my industry, cleaning, window cleaning, exterior cleaning, that kind of effort. We are, so bringing it back in now to sort of my sort of niche, if you like, which is exterior cleaning, window cleaning, etc. Okay, we are, I think, in the privileged sort of position in this industry, that you have your regular window cleaning round, or certainly, at least with my business, we have our regular window cleaning round. We have the additional ad hoc jobs, which are more pricey, but every now and then. Then we have our quarterly jobs, which is sort of bigger jobs, but we sort of come together to do work on those. So it's a very sort of flexible kind of business that requires very little in the way of training, in the sense that, you know, for example, a plumbing and heating engineer might require gas safety Corgi qualifications, etc., and all that sort of good stuff. Electricians and on and on and on. Requires years and years of training. Now, in all honesty, window cleaning and stuff like that, you can, you know, you could, if you really wanted to, learn how to clean, you know, basic fashion, learn how to clean windows inside of a, you know, a couple of days. And that is by standing at a window and not leaving it until it's clean kind of effort. Work out what works, what doesn't. You can watch videos, etc., etc. There are hundreds of resources out there to, like, you know, sort of teach you how to do this kind of stuff, such as this channel. So, but the thing is again, you know, the scarcity mindset for us, as window cleaners, if you like, it only really affected me in the sense that when I very first began, I was like trying to gather work, you know, I need to get more work, because I was trying to feed my family. I was, you know, really sort of struggling, if you like, financially, and in my eyes, it was like I had to work more and more and more to get more and more and more, and then, you know, do more and more and more to get more and more and more, and all this sort of stuff, and every time a customer came off the list, I was like, oh my god, there's a customer come off the list. It's like, well, you know, 2 steps forward, 1 step back, and all this sort of stuff, you know. And that's a very, you know, and then having a sort of beer and a sit down with Danny and a couple of other self-employed guys who do nothing related to what I do, it became apparent that it's a mindset thing, that, you know, if you're struggling because you're not you are chasing your tail to some extent. And we've all been there. I mean, I've lost customers. I'm not gonna sit here and go, oh yes, well, I run my business and I've never lost a customer in my life. Oh, and all this sort of stuff. No, never. Look, the thing is, you can't keep everybody happy 100% of the time. You can try, but the reality of it is, at some point, you're gonna have customers come on, you're gonna have customers go off, and you've got to get into that mindset of thinking to yourself, well, there's plenty of other work out there. Go and do a bit more leafleting, etc., etc., and pick some more customers up. And the reality of it is, you look at a town the size. I mean, I'm talking about Blackpool or the Fylde Coast in general, right? There are, there are, hundreds of thousands of homes, if not millions of homes, all over the Fylde Coast. And only a proportion of those want window cleaners. Okay, fine. But even if a small proportion of them only wanted window cleaners, the reality is that there's still plenty of work out there, and you should never. And I say it's easy for me to say that in hindsight, and I'm sure there are guys watching this video going, "Oh, don't know what you're talking about," all this sort of stuff. Yes, it's easy for me with hindsight, but it's one of those things that you go through. I think, certainly, if you're in my position where no one in your family's ever started a business, you're first in kind of effort. There's very little, limited resources to sort of go off. If you're born into money, then you have a better understanding of this abundance mindset, because the threat of, running out of money has never really featured in your life. And, on fair play to you, this is not a dig at those that have got money or those that are rich or whatever. The reality of it is it's just, if you have grown up hearing your mum and dad arguing about money, if you've grown up in a situation where, you don't know if you can afford to, pay the bills and afford to feed your family as well at the same time, that breeds that scarcity mindset, and it's no one's fault. It's just it's a symptom of the environment that you've been in, And so what can you do to sort of change that environment? And like I've said in the past, you focus your attention on spending time with people that understand this abundance mindset, people that sort of have been running businesses for a good long while, people that are successful. Okay, there's several sort of personal development books out there, that sort of, if you want to learn how to be a multi-million, if you want to learn how to be a business owner, hang around with business owners. You want to learn how to be, it's like it sounds daft, but like in prison, if you want to be a master criminal, go to prison, hang around lots and lots of criminals, and you'll learn all the tricks of the trade. The same is true in a more positive sense, as if you want to learn, about business, if you want to learn about sort of accounts, if you want to learn about the law or whatever, if you want to learn about sort of any given aspect, then you need to spend time with people that understand that sort of, sphere, that little world, if you like. Okay, so yeah, anyway, on that rather contrived bombshell, happy new year once again, and I shall see you all in the next video. Keep on keeping on, chaps.